COCO Gauff's serve used to be one of the biggest question marks in her game. Now, it could be becoming one of her biggest weapons. And tennis coach Rick Macci has taken notice. The change isn't just about hitting the ball harder. It's about consistency, confidence, technique, and what COCO is doing differently under pressure. For years, opponents knew that if they could put pressure on COCO's serve, they might be able to disrupt her rhythm. But COCO has been working, changing, adjusting, and evolving. So what exactly has changed? And why is Rick Macci so impressed? Let's break down the serve transformation that could make COCO Gauff even more dangerous. Tennis the serve has always been a big story. COCO Gauff has always possessed incredible athletic ability. Her speed, her movement, her defense, her ability to chase down seemingly impossible balls. But there was one part of her game that repeatedly attracted attention. The serve. When COCO's serve was working, she could control matches. But when her first serve percentage dropped or her rhythm disappeared, opponents could immediately attack. That meant improving the serve wasn't just about adding a few extra miles per hour. It was about making the entire shot more reliable. Fire why the serve matters so much. Think about what happens after a strong serve. You start the point in control. You get a shorter return. You can dictate the next shot. And suddenly, the entire rally becomes easier. For a player like COCO, this is especially important, because once she gets the first ball under control, her movement and athleticism become even more dangerous. That's why serve development could have such a major impact on the next stage of her career. Brain the big change, consistency. One of the most important improvements isn't necessarily something fans can measure by looking at the speed gun. It's consistency. A serve can be extremely fast, but if it isn't reliable, it doesn't give you enough advantage. COCO's goal has increasingly been about making her motion more repeatable. A more repeatable motion can mean more first serves in, fewer free points for opponents, more opportunities to start rallies on her terms, and greater confidence on important points. That's the kind of change that can transform a player's entire game. United States Rick Macci takes notice. Rick Macci has coached and worked with some of the biggest names in tennis. So when someone with his experience talks about COCO Gauff's development, tennis fans naturally pay attention. Macci has repeatedly discussed COCO's potential and technical development. And the serve has always been an important part of that conversation. What makes the current transformation so interesting is that COCO isn't simply trying to copy someone else's serve. She's developing a motion that works for her own body, rhythm, and playing style. That's crucial. High voltage more than just power. Here's where many fans get it wrong. A better serve doesn't necessarily mean COCO is serving 10 miles per hour faster. The real improvement can be much more subtle. Better placement, better percentage, better disguise, better rhythm, better second serve, better decision-making under pressure. Those improvements may not always create viral highlights, but over the course of a 2-hour match, they can be enormous. Direct hit the second serve question. One of the biggest areas for any top player is the second serve. Why? Because opponents know exactly when they have an opportunity to attack. If the second serve is too predictable, an aggressive returner can step forward and take control immediately. COCO has spent significant time developing the reliability of this part of her game, and that could become one of the most important pieces of her overall transformation. A dependable second serve means fewer cheap opportunities for opponents, and that creates pressure in the other direction. Flexed biceps confidence changes everything. There's another part of serve improvement that doesn't show up in statistics. Confidence. When a player trusts their motion, they can commit fully. They don't hesitate. They don't overthink. They don't become afraid of missing. And that confidence becomes especially important on break points and in tight third sets. For COCO, building that trust could be just as important as the technical changes themselves. Fire why opponents should be worried. Imagine COCO with all of her existing strengths, but now with a more dependable serve. Her opponents already have to deal with her speed. They already have to deal with her defense. They already know she can turn defense into offense. Now add a stronger serving foundation. That creates a completely different challenge. Because if COCO starts getting more free points from her serve, opponents have fewer chances to attack her. And suddenly, they may have to beat her from the baseline instead. That's not an easy task. Trophy from promising teenager to Grand Slam champion. COCO's career development has already been remarkable. She entered the professional spotlight incredibly young. She faced enormous expectations. She experienced difficult losses. Red Heart final thoughts. The most exciting part of COCO Gauff's development isn't that she's trying to become someone else. It's that she's continuing to become a better version of herself. Her serve has been questioned. Her technique has been analyzed. Her weaknesses have been discussed. But instead of ignoring those problems, COCO has worked on them. And that's what separates talented players from players who build lasting careers. Rick Macci's reaction adds another layer to the story. Because when experienced tennis voices start noticing the change, fans naturally start asking, what could this mean for COCO's future? So, tennis fans, what do you think? Has COCO Gauff's serve transformation already taken her game to another level? Is the serve finally becoming one of her biggest weapons? Or does COCO still have more work to do before we can call it a true transformation? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you're a COCO Gauff fan, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications for more COCO Gauff news, WTA updates, and tennis analysis. Because COCO isn't standing still. She's adjusting, she's improving, and she's building the next version of her game. The serve is changing, and the next chapter of COCO Gauff's career could be even more dangerous. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.